You know, Israel is at the forefront of fighting jihad. Israel's jets, boots on the ground, information, intelligence sharing, rockets, anti-rocket technology, all that stuff is out there defending the United States and the West and anybody who's anti-jihad. It could be the UAE, so it's not just a West-West. Anybody who's anti-jihad. Now, JD Vance should be so thankful, should be so grateful that Israel's putting its soldiers on the line and keeping the war far away from them. But instead, he's got a whole theory that he espouses and spoke about on Joe Rogan's show. And on that interview, he basically said Israel's a manipulator. That's what it is. It's a manipulator. And it's got an influence campaign against him personally. He's hurt. And he takes everything. He's like Mr. Take It Personally. Anyway, instead of being grateful to a strong Israel that's fighting the jihad, he's angry at Israel for not backing him up on the deal with Iran. Well, look what happened with that deal with Iran. Within just a few weeks, it turned to dust and ashes and the death of American soldiers because you're trying to appease a monster. Israeli commentator Emily Schrader said it even better than I could. Here's what she had to say about JD Vance's interview with Joe Rogan.
And now I have a few comments for the vice president himself. Mr. Vice President, you spent the better part of your interview whining about people criticizing you online and inventing conspiracies about U.S. allies like Israel, instead of actually being a man and taking responsibility for your own failures. It couldn't possibly be that Americans, Israelis, Iranians, Gulf Arabs, national security experts, or even many of your own supporters genuinely oppose your policies. No, it had to be some well-funded campaign directed by the Israeli government, an extraordinary accusation to make without the receipts to back it up, and one that conflates legal and transparent advocacy with a sinister foreign plot. Reality is much simpler. People aren't criticizing you because they were told to. They're criticizing you because your approach to the Islamic Republic has been a catastrophic failure, because you are a catastrophic failure. After all, Ouch. It's you who seriously tried to claim that the regime's leaders had realized that the way they've been doing business isn't good for them. Really? This is a regime that has spent 47 years chanting death to America, murdering Americans, plotting to assassinate President Trump, taking American hostages, and exporting terrorism. They slaughtered 40,000 Iranian citizens just for protesting in January. Yet you think they're motivated by what's good for their country? They didn't have a change of heart. They played you for time, ran circles around you, and turned your naivete into their greatest strategic asset.
Ouch.
But that wasn't enough, because you also accused Israelis of wanting indefinite war with Iran. No, JD, we don't want an indefinite war. That's precisely why we don't want to hand billions of dollars and a lifeline to the regime that spent decades launching wars. You know, the same regime that tried to assassinate the president that you serve. But what's truly remarkable is what you chose to ignore. You invent conspiracies about Israel while saying nothing about the multi-billion-dollar Qatari influence operation that has poured money into American universities, think tanks, lobbying efforts, media, and political networks. That is a proven foreign influence campaign. But apparently that isn't relevant because you can't scapegoat Qatar for your own failures. If that wasn't enough, your comments also smeared all Iranians as terrorists.
How is it in the United States' interest to have 94 million desperate people flooding into Europe, flooding into the United States, to have, sort of the terrorist infrastructure that can get established when you fan terrorists all over the world? We've run this experiment before.
The Iranian people have stood shoulder to shoulder with Israel and the United States. Millions of them have risked imprisonment, torture, and execution to demand the fall of the regime and to stand with the United States even in wartime. They were told help is on the way by your administration, and now you label them terrorists? How dare you speak this way? A real leader takes responsibility when he gets things wrong. He doesn't blame his failures on allies or invent conspiracies to explain why people disagree with him. We don't need a paid campaign to criticize you, JD. Your own words, your own judgment, and your own failures have done that for you.
Can't be said better than that. Emily Schrader just totally eviscerated JD's crapola that he put out there to the world on Joe Rogan, instead of taking responsibility, instead of saying we got to defend the Iranian people, we got to keep the Middle East from falling to jihadism, and making sure that jihadism doesn't come to the United States, and being thankful to Israel. Instead, JD is falling along the lines of being anti-Israel, together with Tucker and together with all the rest of them that they don't even need to be named anymore. This is not the healthy America. This is not the healthy America. And we here pray and hope that people like JD will either have an awakening, or at least that the people that voted for him will have an awakening and realize who he is. Here in the land of Israel, we are building the land of Israel, and we are building allies, because Israel is the liberation nation. Israel's strength is something that gives hope to Lebanese Christians, to the Kurds, to the Druze, to non-jihadist Arabs, of which there are many in this world, but they are silenced by the vicious jihad that engulfs us. And so the pushback against Iran, against Qatar, and against forces that back them is in the cause of liberty. And liberty-loving people around the world should see Israel for what it is, which is a hero. If you see Israel as a hero, help us build it. BuildIsrael.com. So simple, so beautiful. BuildIsrael.com. Together we build Israel. You, me, and the God of Israel. We could make the ancient places alive again. We can help the economy. We can bring, ambulances to make sure that pregnant ladies get to the hospital in time, and all the good stuff, and the schools and the roads and the bridges. BuildIsrael.com. That's what I believe in. I think you believe that as well. And if you love our show and you love our content, please help us at buymeacoffee.com/Yishai. It makes all the difference in the world. Your help really does matter. God bless you, folks, wherever you are, and shalom.